What's up, guys? I tried doing this as a live stream on YouTube and I failed miserably. So, we have a decent winter storm. I mean, it is a storm and it is winter weather. Um, it is a storm and it is winter weather. So, I guess we could technically call it a winter storm. Um, it's not going to be gale. You're not going to get Nobody's going to see as much snow as Gale dropped. Um, at least not in this model. When I switch over to Great Lakes, there might be something. But in this model right here, West Virginia is going to see nearly 13 inches. We've got my area of Michigan could get. I'm trying to find my county. That's my county. I could get nearly 8 inches. Northwest or north central, I should say, down to southeast Ohio. We've got a band that could see anywhere between 6 and 8 inches, depending where you are in that line. Up in Canada, we do have 20 inches. That's getting towards Gale's magnitude. Parts along the Tennessee, North Carolina state line might see 7.5 inches. Let's change the sector view and let's go to the Great Lakes. And this is all by December 26th at 7 a.m. So we do have 17.5, 18 inches in the western upper peninsula of Michigan. We are looking at 20 inches near Drummond Island. 15 inches in Michigan's Thumb. The snow belt of Michigan, of lower Michigan anyway, isn't really going to see much. That's pretty much up through here. 7 inches, that's going to be the same as I'm going to see in southeast Michigan, just north of Detroit. So, it shouldn't really affect Christmas travel. However, especially in these northern states, now areas, if you're traveling through any of those areas in the south, you may see some disruption to travel. Power outages are still a huge possibility anywhere in this storm that's seeing over 8 inches or over. It's still a huge possibility in rural areas, especially. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. This is Huron County, Michigan, right here. I would not be surprised at all to see quite a few power outages in that area. It's mostly rural, and considering they could see up to 15 inches, that's completely possible. Now, if we're looking at freezing rain, which is something we really should be looking at when we're talking about the possibility of a winter storm causing power outages, usually the biggest players in power outages during winter storms are always going to be wind and ice. So we're going to want to look at freezing rain because not everybody understands what freezing rain is. Some people say that sleet and freezing rain are the same thing. They get confused a lot. I understand that. However, when we're looking at this, we really need to understand the differences between freezing rain and sleet. Sleet is snow that, as it's falling, melts and then refreezes into ice droplets. So I'm going to shine a little light on that subject. And before I get too carried away, I would like to deeply apologize to my homie Corey over in Shamokin, Pennsylvania, and I told him that it was going to snow, that he was going to get enough snow on Christmas to go snowboarding. And I was wrong. However, your slopes should have snow machines, so I hope it's not that big of an issue. But freezing rain, what freezing rain is when it is below freezing in the clouds where these droplets are, or these ice pellets at this point, and then it's freezing at the ground surface, and yeah, at the surface it's freezing down here where we're at walking around, but in between it is above freezing. So what it does is those ice pellets fall into the warmer air and melt into rain, and then as soon as they hit the surface, they refreeze. And that's where we see stuff like that's where we see stuff like this. An ice pellet sleet is not this. It's a beautiful sight. However, it can freeze your power lines and you'll be out of power. But it's always nice to look at the next day. When I'm looking at freezing rain right now, I'm looking at some in Ohio and a lot in Canada. We've got freezing rain accumulation over a half an inch in parts of Ontario. I'm really not seeing a whole lot anywhere else. Now, if I switch over to the Mid-Atlantic sector, and then I'll switch back over to Midwest, just so I can see what Ohio's looking like more. Switch it all the way over. We might get some freezing rain down, or you might see some freezing rain over half an inch in some areas. Pittsburgh, you could see trace amounts anywhere up to 0.2 of an inch. That's really not, hopefully, a whole to worry about. Luckily, in the north, you do have, because there's the snow belt that's actually just Michigan, and then there's the snow belt, which is all the states that get a ton of snow. And so that's really the states that I'm looking at right now. However, it does look like we'll see some freezing rain accumulation down into southern Kentucky, and in some isolated areas in Tennessee, West Virginia, Maryland, Philadelphia might see some. I'm not seeing a whole lot in Harrisburg, Hershey, any of those areas. But Ontario looks like they're going to get the hardest hit when it comes to freezing rain. And now if we're going to look at rain, which I know this is a winter weather briefing, technically. However, I would like to look at our overall precipitation accumulation into Saturday at 7 a.m. So it's looking like parts of Pennsylvania, could see up to 4 inches of rain. We go over here, we've got 4 inches. Parts of New York, I'd assume we'd call that mid-state New York, could see up to 5 inches of rain. These are very isolated areas, though. Any rivers, small streams especially, may swell when you're seeing rainfall 2 inches or higher within 24 hours. But this is just going, this is 24 hours. All right, I thought this was total. But if we're looking at total, we're going to see this all the way into Saturday. See how much rain. Yeah, we're getting 5. You're seeing 5 inches in this area of New York. I wish I could have cities on here. But it won't show me the cities, so I just have to go off of what I know. Like, I know roughly in this area, we've got Harrisburg, Hershey, Shamokin, for all the Shamokin homies, you know. If you are... It's looking like the more mountainous areas, once you start getting into Appalachia, you're really going to start seeing more rain this weekend. And a lot of those mountain creeks and hillside creeks are probably going to swell, and they should definitely be kept an eye on. We're looking at 4 inches in Virginia. Really not a whole lot east of the Alleghenies. Get over into this area, you're looking at the Allegheny Glaciated Plateau. You got Cuyahoga, the Mahoning Valley. Could see 2 inches. This is Mahoning County right here. But 2 inches in the Summit, Cuyahoga County areas, Lake County. I would not be surprised if we saw some lakeshore flood advisories in these counties along Lake Erie in Ohio this weekend at all. These winter storms tend to bring a lot of decent heavy winds on the lakes, and even if you're not getting a whole ton of rain, an inch or two is plenty enough to kind of add on to the threat. But even if you're not seeing a whole lot of rain, especially on these large bodies of water like Lake Erie, you can expect to see water just being pushed up onto the shore. I see it a lot in the Detroit area, even with Lake St. Clair. Not nearly as big as Lake Erie, but still a decent sized body of water. And we do see a tornadic threat this weekend too. I know I started this as a winter weather thing, but since I'm in this sector, I am going to look at a tornadic threat in the Carolinas this weekend that's forecasted for Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. So that's going to be your biggest threat. We got a torque on of 4.5. That's pretty decently high. I'll chase a green, but obviously I'm not in the Carolinas or Virginia, so I can't. But now when we're looking at the supercell composite, but what we really need to look at after this is what if there is the wind shear to make anything really happen. This is going to be a dangerous line. North Carolina is going to be your biggest threat. Anywhere east of this line, really. Or just Carolina overall, especially east of this line right here. Now we need to make sure that we have the wind shear that can produce these tornadoes and these supercells and everything that goes with them. I would not be surprised to see some water spouts either off the Atlantic coast this week. With the high wind shear and the supercell and tornadic threat, already that's just evolving into the Atlantic. do believe we had the wind shear to make this happen. So Christmas Day, Christmas Eve too. Just keep an eye on the sky. Tune in to NOAA Weather Radio. Keep your eyes on the news. Listen to your local meteorologist, even though I hate to say it because I really have a distaste for TV meteorologists. But hell, I'm a YouTube meteorologist, or I'm not a meteorologist even. I don't even have a degree. I just know stuff. So I'm just a YouTube storm chaser and forecaster. So what do I know? But if anybody is wondering, I do have plenty of weather-related certifications, so I'll whip those out. Stomp you haters. That's really all I'm really expecting this weekend. There is a very good chance. What's really going to push the winter weather into southeast Michigan, into the Detroit area, and just East Michigan in general, the thumb and everything. What's really going to do that is the jet stream. The jet stream is going to be way north. It's going to push freezing cold air into, I almost want to say like a polar vortex situation. But we're seeing, just on this model, seeing 17 degrees. This is Saturday. 17 degrees, 23, 22. 7 degrees in West Virginia. 9 degrees. This is kind of along Appalachia. Through the mountains. You got your Blue Ridge Mountains. You got your Smoky Mountains. Through the Alleghenies. But what's going to do this is the jet stream is way up north in Canada. And it's pushing the cold air down into the United States, all the way down into, we see temperatures in the 30s in Alabama, Georgia. We even see them down into the high 20s. The Carolinas. Into the deep south is going to see freezing and below freezing temperatures this weekend. Obviously, we all know that's not normal. And then, so as these storms are moving along, the jet stream is going to drop back down and start to warm things up, but it's not going to warm it up enough to where it can't snow, and to where snow can't accumulate. It's not going to warm it up fast enough, but what it will do is it'll actually make the snow worse and make it accumulate more in some areas, like eastern Michigan, because it's going to be pulling that storm front to the northeast, and it's going to bring it through Canada and then wrap back around and dump more snow on eastern Michigan. And I want to show you guys something else. There's a very interesting something I noticed earlier. It was in the precipitation type. And we're going to want to go to Great Lakes. Why don't you guys check this out? This is quite interesting. So we see, it looks like this snow is going to miss metropolitan Detroit and just the Detroit area in general, up into the thumb even. And then it pulls back up. It's almost like lake effect snow. I haven't done enough studying to know whether it's lake effect snow or not. I'm literally draining all of my winter weather knowledge right now. And then as that jet stream does warm it up, it's also going to turn all this snow that could be being dropped on Pennsylvania, New York, um, Maryland, it's all turning it into rain. And that's why you're not going to see any snow this weekend in Pennsylvania. So, once again, I apologize for my forecast. When people asked me for forecasts earlier today and yesterday, I was wrong. That's why you gotta love weather. It's the one thing you can always be wrong at and still get paid if you do get paid. I don't get paid. So I guess I gotta be right until I do get paid. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of snow. Alright, so I think I've covered just about everything I want to cover. Once I figure out how to screen share in a live stream, I might do some briefings during the storm. If they're after Christmas, unfortunately, I'll just post on Instagram or whatever when I have the time about anything that might develop over the weekend throughout the storm. And I'll just try to keep you guys posted, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do a live stream until probably later on Christmas Eve, spending time with the family, So just everyone stay safe, stay warm, and have a wonderful evening. Make sure to like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, make sure that the notifications button is clicked to the on position. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.